It's your favorite stringer guys. Today this is our first kind of little setup that we had for this podcast, and I was wondering, how is this gonna go? Is the equipment gonna be okay? So it's gonna be a little dry, run. You guys will give me the comments here on the comments below. Say, hey, voice was too big. So like I said, it'll be some video editing, things like that. But I think this is one of those like impromptu videos. Guys, this is what I like to do. If you guys didn't know too much about me, Mains and Crosses, we started about 2012. As soon as I got out of the military, kind of like tennis was evolving in my area. I couldn't find a stringer at the time when I wanted my racket strung, and I just ended up going on Craigslist. I had some previous ideas of stringing, and I kind of got some lessons when I was overseas in Okinawa a little bit. But when I came back here, I was like, dude, there's nobody stringing rackets in this area, and if there are, it's like, dude, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. So I decided upon myself, I was like, hey, let me go get a machine, learn how to do it. And this is way before, YouTube. I think there might be like a couple of video. Richard Parnell was one of them. There was this other guy who was just like doing giveaways and showing like different techniques. Great. And then after a while, I think he was doing that like for a couple of years, and then he gave up himself, started doing other things because it's really time consuming. And it was funny because even decades ago, when they were doing this, started out on YouTube, the stringers already felt like, hey, we weren't getting paid enough, we weren't getting the recognition, and then after a while, he just gave up because he has other things to do in life also. But this, stringing was not the most important thing in his life anymore because either it was monetary reasons, it's definitely time consuming. But I feel like now in this, social media kind of brought everybody together. We've been doing this since Instagram since like 2012, 2013. We were probably one of the only like stringers out there that had like a actual like official Instagram page. Wilson's just started with Wilson Tennis just started with Instagram. Some other brands are here and there, but they started coming in right after 2015, 2016 started booming out, and then here we are now. Kind of went away a little bit and wanted to come back, and we started our fundamentals with Mains and Crosses, how to build a business. The whole thing was like, hey, reviewing machines, what's the best source to get strings, and I think those were very important. And after a while, you kind of got burned out. I probably felt the same way the other guy did, but instead of never coming back, I reviewed some of my videos in the past on YouTube, and I was reading the comments, and it was like, dude, there's so many comments I didn't respond to, and people had questions. People actually mostly comments, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. But most of the comments were like, dude, it wasn't for this small piece of video. And one person was like, it has a low view count. However, to me, it made the difference between me buying the machine or not buying a machine, or learning how to do, calibrations on the Bayardo, things like that, very obscure videos. And I wrote him back, like, hey, I'm glad I'm not the only tennis nerds around here. But that being said, I felt like, hey, this might be the comeback. 2024, I kind of took 2022, 2023, kind of in a different direction. I was trying to move kind of tennis and marketing in my brand into a Web3 crypto type thing, and we did have our boom. Hopefully, it still comes back. I had gained a lot of knowledge, and of course, there's failures in between also. It's all not like rainbows and butterflies. But now we're back, and after having this 2024 Kalamazoo string at the tournament with a bunch of great guys, shout out to Drew, Mike Stevens, Vin. We had a boy Jack. He's a college kid doing great. Of course, myself, GIF, and honestly, this year was great to me too because I can bring my family back into the full loop. My daughter was like 15, 14. Told her, hey, let's work the front desk. She did a great job. I thought she did a great job. And taught her like the value of a freaking dollar. So when she came back, she was more interested in stringing. She got more interested in tennis. So it's almost like, here's my second win. What can I do different? I hate, reinventing the wheel. There's already content out there, how to string, things like that. There's way more websites now to like procure tennis strings, things like that. So what am I best at? And I was looking back like, dude, I like giving out advices, how to make money, how to advance. And here we are now. This is probably gonna be the second video in this series. But I want to try to do this pretty often, kind of gives you a little hope. Maybe you're in a lull like myself, you guys are like, hey, things aren't going right, the clients aren't the clients I'm getting. I'm not getting enough clients. Smitty, what do? Before I can probably just, fake the funk. It's like, fake it till you make it. But now I have over 10 years of experience stringing rackets, and I don't even do it that well. I do it, I do it pretty good. But honestly, what they come for, it's really not the string. Actually it is, but it's more they come back for you, and also they come back for that supply and demand. It's all back in the days, supply and demand. That runs business, and this is a business. And in the other video, I told you, hey, you should run it. So I'll kind of review a little bit of the old video. So instead of me ranting, that being said, let's talk a little bit about product selection, guys. My thing was, if you started a tennis business or any business, right? What's the most big value item tickets? Maybe payroll. Obviously, if you're a stringer, either you're paying yourself, or you're paying, one more partner here and there. Even if you own a shop, what's your highest payroll besides maybe labor, right? Besides worker, it's going to be your supplies, overhead, things like that. You don't realize it. You call up a rep, it's like, hey man, yo, can I get some reels? What they're really saying is, hey, can I get one or two? And then the rep's like, well, if you buy 35,000 reels right now, we'll give you like 2 free or something like that. And you're like, you got to bite your tongue, and it's like, let's do it, right? And now you have some overhead of strings you may not want, because sometimes they want to clear out. It'll be like, hey, we got natural gut for sale, but it's only in like 20 gauge. It's like, dude, man, what am I gonna do with that? Or they'll have some like clearance on some stuff, and sometimes it'll work out, especially if you can sell. That's great, but you don't want to carry too much overhead. So let's start up this video, honestly, and after 6 minutes in, let's start by saying that you should not have too many overhead. Before, when I was a younger stringer, I was like, hey, I gotta have all these strings, right? You gotta have all these selections for your clientele. And why? Because, well, it lets you look professional. Even though I run a not a brick and mortar, but it's my house, but I want to be known to have all the selection. I have Solinco, Wilson, Technifiber, Dunlop, Sigma, you name it, Head, Diadem. You carried all these strings, and in each category, each brand, you got to carry all of them too, right? You're like, oh, dude, I want to be known for having all of them. You have like over 20 selections. Me now, I carry a very low selection. You guys remember my old videos? I was like, hey, keep your inventory short. Even now in 2024, I keep keeping shorter. You don't want to have too much overhead. That reel sitting in your, you paid for it. You're like, what's not doing anything. Space is money. If you're going to rent out a storage room, if you're going to rent out a building, you're looking at squares, right? Hey, how many square feet is this? Those things occupy that square foot. Even though it's a small thing, a small reel, however, things add up. That thing's collecting dust and making you zero money. And what it forces you to is, let's say you get that reel Black Widow, right? You usually get 16, 15 rackets, whatever. You get a full reel. You're using, it takes you like 5 years to kill that. And all of a sudden, like at that 5th year, you're like, oh, I finally got done with the Black Widow. 2 more clients come in and say, hey, whatever that string was, it was great. Now you go buy another reel. And then, odds are you might have to buy 2 reels. And now it sits there also. Like, dude, you're not going to flip them around well enough. However, things like Hyper G, things like RPM Blast, Alu Power, I'm just throwing some names out there, they might go much faster, right? There's a saying in marketing, they're like, the more options you give to your client, the more confused they will get. I'm gonna repeat myself. The more options you give to a client, the more confused they will get. And what I mean about that is like, hey, you ever had a client come in, it's like, man's and crosses. Hey man, I'm looking to get my racket strung. I don't have any strings. Can you hook it up? Oh yeah. What are you looking for? Oh, I don't know. What do you guys recommend? Well, we have Luxlon, Alu Power, Alu Rough, Smart String, and of course, we got Solinco, Torbite, Hyper G, and we got Head, Hawk, a Technifiber, NRG2. Oh, that's great too. We got better multi-filaments, the Tri-X, and also we got some Wilson NXTs are good. But then we know Wilson NXTs, they got 3 lines. They got power, they got control, they got the comfort. But you gave them over 10 different string options. That's gonna confuse them. That's gonna be like, I don't know. What do you think's the best? And you're like, well, now you're like, okay, well, I'll narrow it down. Like, there's Alu Power that's been pretty popular. No. You're doing too much. You're confusing the client. It's like going to Cheesecake Factory. You open up their Bibles, like, what do I eat? And you're kind of, you need 20 minutes. And I think that's your tactics. Like, they're so busy. They're going to let you skim through all the books, get you really hungry, and then order the crap out of that book. That's a tactic for the food industry. When you're something that you need to get done, you're a service, you need to get it done in and out quick. You're the expert. Why are you listing strings or telling about strings that you have when you're the expert? Why don't you kill, like, you know, I hate this saying. Why don't you just kill two birds with one stone? That sounds so horrible nowadays. I'm sorry. But that being said, why don't you be the expert that you are, right? You're the stringer, right? You're the MRT. You're the ERSA. You're the 10-year veteran. Here's how that phone call should be. Yo, mains and crosses. Hey, man, dude, I'm in need of stringing. I don't have any strings. You guys, anything selection for you? Oh, well, my prices, if you need to use any of our strings, besides God, we charge $45. Is that okay? Yeah, dude. That's awesome, man. That 45, that's nothing. Oh, well, what are you looking into? Yeah, what kind of playing style do you have? Well, dude, I need some, I like to play doubles, like a lot of control. I'm a big bass liner, so I'm just kind of, hitting from the back. I don't have too much of a top spin. I just like to have a big hit game. Oh, that sounds great, man. It sounds like your game is great. Let me repeat back to you. So you play a lot of doubles. You're big into, hitting, power strokes all the way in the back line, things like that. You probably want something a little durable, right? How about this? I have Alu Power Luxlon. It's great. You heard of it, right? Yeah, I heard of it. Yeah, that's going to be giving you the durability that you want. That power is going to give you that extra pop right off the baseline. We're going to give you a 16L 125. And like I said, it's $45 and I'll have it done in you 20 minutes. What do you think about that? Dude, that sounds great. I'll be there in a second. That's how that conversation has been versus like, imagine you had gave them all those options. You got RPM Blast, Hyper G, and then you try to narrow them down. It just takes too long. Clients just want to be in and out, guys. Stop treating this business. I know you're a professional, but at the end of the day, you want to close the sale. You're the expert. Why are you going to keep on, you know what the questions to ask, right? They want spin. Hey, let's try to give them into a shaped string, maybe. Hey, I want comfort. Hey, maybe somewhere in the multi, they want to ease in their arm. You're not going to give them poly. So you're already the expert. Stop giving this whole list. You be the expert. Hey, I need this. Boom. This is a string for you right here. And that's going to show you is sometimes it's going to be great. String is very subjective. He's going to use it. He's going to enjoy it, love it, tell his friends, like, awesome. He's going to come next time. Yo, these played great, man. And he's going to come. He's going to remember, because, like, dude, this guy knew what he wanted. As soon as I asked, like, I told him, like, those couple things, like, and all of a sudden he picked the right ones. Like, how did you know? Well, I'm the expert. And that's why it's $45. See, it's, you don't want to give them too many options. If you're going to give them options, give them 3 options. I think 3 option is the rule, right? It's called the Goldilocks theory. Basically, it's like, you remember the Goldilocks, went to go get porridge, right? And it's like, oh, this one's too cold, this one's too hot, this one's just right. And we want to eliminate the too hot and too cold instantly, right? So you give me those 3. It could be price, it could be, different materials also. So you give them 3 options. If you want to do it, you go into Goldilocks theory. So this is what I mean. You give them a poly option, you give them a cinder gut poly, and you give them a multi. And out of those, give them small little tidbits like, hey, what are you looking for? So the guy comes in, yeah, I'm looking for a string. I don't know what I want. What you got? Well, I got some Wilson's synthetic gut power. It's a great all-round string. Nylon, it's classic. You'll keep it up for a while. And also, we also have Hyper G, Solinco, great strings, very popular, shaped, polyester, co-poly. It's still going to be easy on your arm, but you still get a lot of control and a lot of spin off of that. And of course, if you had any arm issues or it's something you need a little softer, you want to feel the ball a little bit, I also got Wilson NXTs as a multi-filament. Oh, dude, I'm going to go with the poly. I need some little durability. I love spin. I'm going to go with that. So you, off of that conversation, you give them 3 options. You give them synthetic gut, give them multi, and give them poly. And out of their thing, he wanted the control. He wanted some durability. So, boom, right there. You set it off. Same thing with pricing, right? I have one price. I don't want to give them any options because I'm the expert. They're paying for my time. So I just give them, hey, if you need strings from us besides natural gut, it's 45. If you bring your own string, it's $30. There's 2 options. I'm not giving the third one. It's either this or that. And they're pretty solid. If you don't want to pay the 45, bring your own strings. And if you bring your own strings to this price, but if you don't have any strings, you're going to use 45. So I give them that option also. And you can do the same thing with the third tier, the Goldilocks theory, which is like, hey, I'll have a natural gut stringing price. I'll have, hey, a rush price or something like that, or you can do a rush price, regular price, and then something like I wouldn't say a discount, but you can be like, hey, I can do this if you buy my string. So you want to give at least some options, right? But you're the expert. You're trying to dial them down. So you'd be like, hey, I got natural gut. It's like $70. Does that sound good for you? Oh, that's a little too high. What else do you have? Well, if you use any of our strings, there's this price. And then, of course, this synthetic gut, you might have to leave your racket. We'll get to when we can. It won't be rush service, but it'll be this price. And they'll be like, well, I need it now today. Well, 45 is my price. Get your record string today. Pick any strings you want besides natural gut. We're gonna go with that one. So just with those things, let's people say like, hey, how can you justify charging $45 for synthetic gut? I feel like in the U.S., capitalism, it depends on where you're at, or your mindset. I mean, that's what I meant. Like, obviously, this is like, we live in a capitalistic world here, but your price as value as much as your service should not be the same. And what I mean about that is the labor theory of value. I'm bringing this into like business 101. And it's an economical theory. The short for like LTV. It's a labor theory of value concept. And it says the market should only price as much as necessary of labor to create it. I'll repeat that again, right? It's a theory that states that the value of the goods or service is determined by the amount of labor required to produce it. And what that means is, hey, that product or that service you give should be the same. That's like Marxism, like straight up. Like, if you want to live that, you live right there. It's like, hey, the value of your service should be priced according to, to the labor required. So let's say if it takes you 15 minutes, right, to string this racket, it should be this price. So let's say you're $20 an hour, right? Well, you can finish that racket in half an hour. So now you're $10. Like they're saying that your labor should be $10 in this theory, which is not right. It's not human nature, especially in this service. They don't tack on the years of experience. They don't care about that. So if you offer this theory, it's like, hey, you can finish the racket in half an hour. You're worth $20. So in half an hour, half of that would be $10. So your service should be, your string service, they're telling you it should be $10. And that's the mindset. And we don't blame them. We're kind of all in the same society. It's like, well, however, human nature will always, doesn't account for it. That part, the human nature part. It's like, hey, why do we pay more for a Chanel, Gucci, Rolex? And people try to justify, well, their branding's high. Things like, exactly. Their branding's high. They have experience. They're classic Rolex. Oh, they use something with premium stuff. What's the difference between us as a stringer? Years of experience, 5,000 above in products, machine. Let's not talk about just labor. They don't put that in account, right? They're using us as a product or a service, but we're more than that. And that's why I was like, hey, we should price accordingly. You pay me for my time. You called us. You should pay us what we're valued. That being said, I think, we have to overcome that challenge. You're like, well, capitalism, well, that's why you guys are greedy. No. It's not greed. It's knowing your value. A lot of people say, capitalism is just like a pure greed. How about that pharmaceutical? They're buying up all the, buying the patent. Now they're charging, $10 million for cancer medicine. And ethically, I don't know what to say about that. That's a little over the top. But I have the only machine here. I'm the only one who's doing it at 9 o'clock, morning or night. I'm the one who's doing it within 20 minutes. I'm doing this full time. As soon as you need your racket done, I'm getting it done. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with charging what I wanted to charge? It's $45 for me. This is my value. Yeah, it's going to take me 15 minutes. Yeah, it's going to take me 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, whatever. But I didn't get to those 20 minutes. I didn't get to those 15 minutes by miraculously just learning how to string. It's years of experience. So think about that when you do it. You change your mindset a little bit, right? Change your mindset. Let's say you're another professional. You're not a stringer. You're somebody else. You're a doctor. Well, I can get my surgery, in Sri Lanka. I can get my surgery in Mexico. or I might trust it to a specialist. I might go to the Mayo Clinic or something like that. Something that, yeah, it's going to cost more, but it'll probably be clean, state of the art technology. They probably have years of experience. I'll probably go there. If your life depended on this, what would you do, right? Would you go cheap? And that's how you want to explain it to your clients. You don't have to do it in that route. I feel like I don't want to give any justifications to my clients where my prices is. I used to try to be like, hey, I used to throw names like, oh, I used to string for Venus, Nick Curios, the Bryan Brothers, things like that. Now it's like, hey, I know my worth. I've been doing this for quite a while, and look at my clock. It's 9:30 p.m. You're not gonna get anywhere done. And you got a tournament tomorrow. It's 8. Good luck, guys. Just like that, guys. I hope this has been educational for you guys. I want to do a little more videos just like this. I think it's very important for us to raise awareness for stringers, and I think it's important for us to kind of work together too. It doesn't help, guys. It doesn't help bring your prices down. And this is plenty of reason why. You watch our first video earlier. But guys, if you like, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Obviously, we're going to post this on Instagram, YouTube, all the social media platform. But this is my first run. Hopefully this is great. Something if you find something, educational off of this, hit me on the comments. I love to interact with you guys a little more, and especially stringers out there. If you're looking to string, this is the perfect time. The demand is at all-time high. I've been calling this since like last decade, and I feel like now it's coming into fruition. And I'm excited to be here with